Hi, this is Jess Porter. You're listening to The List. I'm talking today with my friend Julie Welch, who teaches improv at the Groundlings. Hi, Julie.
Hi, Jessica.
Julie, I'm speaking to you from Los Angeles, correct?
Yes, I'm in Los Angeles.
I am the worst. I just want to say, for the record, I used to do radio as a teenager, and I mean, like a show where I did interviews as a teenager, and I interviewed adults, and I was actually considered a really good interviewer, and I don't know what happened. I just became like, so you have red hair? You know, I just asked the stupidest questions. Let me tell the people that you teach improv.
Please tell the people.
So you come from an entertainment family. Tell us what your parents did.
So my folks wrote what we call special musical material for the Carol Burnett Show. And then when Variety kind of went out of fashion, they wrote and produced individual acts for people. So I grew up around sketch comedy, but I became a graphic designer, and that's really what I did in my post-college adult life.
So when was the switch to improv? Like, and what spurred it?
I went to see a show at the Groundlings Theater in Los Angeles, and I kind of lost my mind. I mean, it was a world I was familiar with because I grew, being around the Carol Burnett Show, I'd obviously seen a lot of sketch comedy, but I never really had seen live improv. And I remember, there was so much about it, the fearlessness, the fun they seemed to be having. It was probably the biggest note to self I've ever had. How do I do this? And I was super scared of it, and it took me 2 years to call and inquire about classes, but I finally did.
Wow. And
my teacher was Michael McDonald. Some folks might know him from Mad TV. It was just a fantastic class. And, for me, it was sort of a life changer.
Is there anything we can learn from improv about this? You know what I mean? Is there some kind of game we could play, or Zoom game with people just to keep it light? Have you applied any of your skills so far?
It's funny you should say that, because somebody said to me the other day, well, as an improviser, you're being given a challenge right now that's a real test of going with the flow, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. And the ability to adapt. I think of improv as just constant adaptation. Anytime I've ever taken an improv class, it's you step into a scene and you have to accept the circumstances. And
right.
This is what's happening here, and it's just so funny to watch my own mind and my own heart and the people around me or not around me, continually step into this experience where, it went from surreal to scary to boring, and now I'm just I'm done. But we're not done, so we got to keep the scene going.
No, I mean, I think it's this has all been proof in terms of how important human interaction is, and I guess improv at its most basic or kind of primal is just interacting with somebody moment to moment, and that's what we're not getting to really do right now, and I miss that.
I miss it too. I watch TV shows and people hug, and I'm like, oh, remember hugging?
Oh, I know. Or when Dr. Fauci said, I think handshakes are a thing of the past. That broke my heart.
He did not say that.
He sort of did in so many ways.
Did he mean that forever? Like post this?
Well, I don't know about forever. My heart was broken because I love handshakes, like especially not so much personally because I'm more of a hugger, but just when I see world leaders shake hands and stuff, I think it's important. I think it's a way of saying, I feel you, I hear you. I don't know.
Well, originally the handshake meant, apparently, it was a demonstration that you had no weapon.
Ah, see?
Yeah, it means, I come without a weapon. So it's a gesture of goodwill. Yeah, and I also am like, when there isn't a pandemic happening, and that's a big when, that's a big, caveat.
I'm trying to think. That kind of describes 57 years of my life.
Right.
Yes.
In the other life that we have, I am an anti-germaphobe. Like, I'm all about mixing it up bacterially and microscopically. I really think that that's, a key element to our health. And it's a demonstration, too, of faith in the bigger picture. I'm not some lone ranger biologically. My microbiome, the bacteria all over and inside my body, is not unique or singular. You know, like other people have all sorts of strains of bacteria that I also have. And like the fear of bacteria and germs is just such a retreat from the tribe.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that. I don't want to retreat from the tribe. I mean, I don't like the whole tribe. The whole tribe drives me nuts sometimes. And I don't want to, live with the whole tribe. But on some basic elemental level, I'm not alone, nor are you, nor are any of us. And to share our dirt and our food and our air and our water is really part of how we thrive, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And yet, every 100 years, a pandemic comes along and says, "Oh, think again, Jessica Porter."
Exactly.
I think it's a good time to do the list. I'm going to start. The ability to do a conference call and record it, which is what we're doing right now. I'm just grateful that I'm able to do that.
Ah, yes. I'm going to say the veggie border burrito from Eduardo's Grill. And I say that partially because I love it. I think it's the best burrito in Los Angeles, but also because I worry about restaurants going out of business. And I'm, it's a plug.
Good. I'm glad. That's really smart because this is going to go to a lot of people. A lot of burrito eaters.
I just saved a restaurant right there.
You did. Ding. Thank you. Rainy days in LA. It's really dramatic and gray and rainy today, and I love that because too much sunshine, it gets monotonous. I'm sorry. It's beautiful, but I cease to appreciate it if it's not broken up every once in a while.
I'm going to say, because I didn't really fully understand the importance of I'm going to say fact checkers.
Whoa.
People sort of who take that time that that I'm not taking, and it seems to be really important these days.
I'm going to say the New York Times because we just live in a world where there's only so many newspapers left that are really actually newspapers. And I know someone who works there, and it's still a newspaper, a good one.
Oh. Eyesight.
That's very good. I'm going to say music. I've gotten into music lately. I'm one of those people that I say to I'm like, I can live without music. And the truth is I can. In the car, I never listen to music. But lately, and it's really ever since I started doing stand-up, I've gotten into listening to the music, which just makes me think I'm functioning from a different part of my brain more often.
Well, on a related note, I am grateful for really for beautiful two-person harmonies.
Interesting. I'm going to say Zoom because I saw a choir today done online with about 60 different women singing in harmony, some choral number from like every single state. Like none of them were in the same room. So Zoom.
Yes. Oh, I totally get it. I don't know how to, I'm going to say astronauts, which sounds crazy, but people who are like fearless enough to explore and do things that I would never do, but, you know, as a society, we're better off for it. Like daring people who are, I guess it goes back to bravery, but that kind of amazes me, that just willingness.
Yeah, that brings me to something I've been grateful for on several of these podcasts, but it's just the men and women on the front lines right now of the virus. Mm-hmm. You know, the people showing up every day to treat other humans through this.
Yes.
And risk their own lives doing it. It's amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, amen to that. I'm taking it in a different direction, but I love the sound of cats purring, and I will, if I meet a cat, I feel like I'll do anything. I want it to purr.
So you're kind of you're like a perpetrator.
Oh God.
Cha-ching.
And yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the pun cash register. Cha-ching. Bananas.
Okay, on a related note, cookbooks. I love just the detail that goes into them.
So I would say my family.
And I'm going to say something completely revolutionary, my family.
Well done. I think the satisfaction and the weird gratitude I'm going to have when things start opening up again and you do the most mundane things. Like I really miss hugging people.
I
didn't think of myself as a big hugger. I kind of did it, you know, just sort of like, oh, I'll give you a hug. But it was giving me something. And I'm looking forward to relishing those things more than I ever have.
Yes, yes. Oh, I love that. Okay. Whoever came up with luggage that rolled. That literally changed my feeling. I don't know why it took so long, but like it was such a thing in the past of carrying stuff down long airport corridors.
I mean, it really was a huge leap to suddenly have a rollie. Why did it take so long? It just was so obvious in retrospect. And yet, no. That's a really good one. I got to say airports in general. I remember when I was a teenager and I would fly to visit my sister who was at boarding school, and I just loved the total anonymity of an airport, that you didn't know anyone, you weren't going to bump into anyone you knew. I would smoke cigarettes, you know, and knowing that I wouldn't get caught. And I just loved the suspension of the normal rules and habits of one's life that take place at an airport. I still kind of love that.
Yes, yes. It sounds super generic, but I'm going to say it anyway. But I'm going to say friends. There's so many things I'm aware I'm not so good at, but I feel like I've done a pretty good job picking wonderful folks. Well, with one exception, but I won't get into it.
Speaking of friends, I just played a card game with my roommate, several card games. And card games are really fun. Like, who thought up cards? You know what I mean?
Cards,
like,
yes.
52 cards, all different suits, 4 different suits going from ace to king. I mean, who thought that up? And yet,
who thought that up?
Bajillion combinations of different card games. Fantastic cards.
Oh, I'm going to then say word games like Boggle, and the whole category of games for me is really fabulous.
Brings me to the show Ozark, which I've been watching lately, which is stunningly good. And I say that because at one point, Marty Bird, the protagonist, says, I'm an accountant. I move numbers around. And this woman he's speaking to says, I'm an attorney. I move words around.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it was such a great line.
Yeah.
So Ozark.
Ozark, okay. In kind of continuing with the game theme, I'm ignoring Ozark. It would be running charades. I feel like that was a hugely influential saying in my childhood, meaning it was like adults and kids all behaving in a super silly way, and sort of somehow weirdly led to me being an improv teacher.
Yeah, not even weirdly. It's like a straight line. That's so great.
Yes, it is.
There was a TV show in Canada called Party Game that the theme song was like da 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 da.
Oh yeah.
And it was charades, like two teams of sort of like pseudo celebrities, Canadian celebrities, as my friend would call them.
Yes.
And they would play charades, and we would watch it. I'd watch it with my mother. So instead of playing, we just watch it on TV. But there you go. Meditation. I'm so grateful to have gotten into meditation when I was younger and basically very imperfectly continued.
I'm actually writing that one down because that's something I have not done, and I feel like it's calling out to me. I'm going to say, okay, here's a really vain one. I have veneers on my front teeth, and if I didn't have them, like I'd have just these big gaps. Not that there's anything wrong with that, between my teeth and front. And I had those kind of, as a kid, like kind of grayish. They weren't a great color. So I'm just saying I'm grateful for certain kinds of cosmetic enhancements. Is that terrible?
No, that's what they're for. They're supposed to make us grateful. They're supposed to make us happy. Speaking of teeth, I have one of my front teeth is doing this weird thing called resorption, and it's kind of like weird and black right now. I mean, not the whole tooth, but part of it. It's disgusting. I feel like it's, really not a good look. And I was meant to this week be in Canada getting my tooth fixed by a dentist friend of mine named Paul Piccinini, otherwise known as Peach. Peach is the greatest guy. I got to say, I'm incredibly grateful for Peach. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic, I'm not there getting it done, but I love, love, love Peach. Great guy.
Oh, I love that. Sweatpants.
Sweatpants. Sleep. That I still get good sleep. Some people are really tortured by their sleep, and I am a good sleeper, and that is a great gift.
Yes. I'm going to say just like indoor plumbing, utilities and stuff like that. I mean, the ability to regulate the temperature inside my house and the ability to go to the bathroom and not worry about it.
So a friend was telling me today about the advent of what's called a smart toilet. And the smart toilet is going to chemically analyze our urine and feces and tell us, like, what's going on inside of us.
Oh, my God. That's wild. Huh.
So, yeah, running water. Okay. I'm going to say air travel. Like just the fact that, and I know it's complicated because it's a huge polluter and really ultimately, like, are we ever going to have electric planes? Probably not. But just the ability to go somewhere fantastic on the planet that you never would have gone if you'd lived even 100 years ago.
Well, I'm going to totally add to that, which is, again, same thing, lots of bad stuff. But cars, like I don't understand, frankly, how a car engine works, but I'm grateful they do because, well, for all kinds of obvious reasons, even though, you know, there's pollution and you have car accidents and there's all kinds of terrible stuff, but I am grateful to be able to go someplace. That's right. I'm sorry.
Dial it back.
Okay, cars.
Just kidding. I want to say the generation emerging, the sort of Generation Z that is all up in our grill about climate change and ethics and stuff. And the fact that when we're all that age, you know, I think we are harder on our elders and really passionate about things and really push the needle in forward. You know, how quickly and how far remains to be seen, but as much as I can find it irritating being challenged, it is also just a great thing that youth is always like strong and passionate and pushy.
Yes. I'm going to say documentarians. I love, because this has sustained me for much of this pandemic, but like folks who actually, oh my God, you know, who spend the year or two or more investigating a story simply because it's interesting and worth telling.
I love a good documentary too. I would say beautiful photographs. Even more than a painting, a beautiful photograph just moves me. Me.
My dad's, this is kind of a combo, but my dad's piano playing and my mother's singing voice. Moving, you were saying, like, things that just move you like that. Those two things always move me to tears.
Okay, so last one, Julie. Last one each. My health right now, that I'm not personally wrestling with this virus. And God bless anyone who is. But I'm really grateful that, because when you hear about it, it really, really, really sounds brutal.
Yes. Totally echo that, and I'll just expand upon it. Grateful for my health and also grateful for caregivers.
Yeah. So how do you feel?
It's a wonderful thing that you're doing just because it changes your headspace, and I think we all sometimes can all fall into easily that, like, God damn it, I can't go to the store and get celery root. You know, and this is kind of like, okay, we're okay.
Well, and also it reminds me that wherever we are, we have the choice to feel appreciation and gratitude, even in the traffic jam, even in lockdown. And I didn't practice this for most of my life. So having done it for the last few years, it's just a very empowering revelation to be able to feel good no matter where I am.
Please put this in the podcast.
I'm going to change the name of the podcast to Two Idiots.
Two idiots talking about shit.
Middle-aged idiots talking shit. That'd be a great podcast name.